Alright, welcome to the Midweek Tweak. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your support. Let's get to it. First up is going to be Webull, of course, since we got our trade running on Webull. We're still within the good area. We got our 200 underneath as support. We got our 20 coming underneath. Got a little bit of resistance at about $14.75. Had a nice push up the last 4 days. And we'll have to see what happens today, Thursday morning. So far, it looks like the overall market is starting to get a little bit of a pullback. Take a look at the S&P. As you can see, the S&P is coming back to check for some support at about 6,600. And so you're looking for some support there. Bitcoin is continuing to sell off slowly. Keeps getting these nice little pumps up and then it just dumps. So we're making lower highs, and we'll see if we make a lower low on Bitcoin. But currently it looks like it's wanting to pull back some more and maybe come back down and retest this 107 area. Next up is oil. And oil is trying to push back higher. It keeps doing the same thing to it, kind of bouncing around and pushing up and then selling off, pushing up. But so far, this I don't know what to call it, $61 area so far has been the support area. So it's almost like it's transitioning to start going back higher on oil. We'll see what happens. But it's definitely within this little bit of a range here, between 65 and 61. Alright, next up is Ethereum. And Ethereum is selling off hard. Even harder than Bitcoin, it looks like. So we'll see what happens with it, and maybe want to find some support down around 3,700. We'll see how it turns out. Right now, Ethereum is a sell also. Next up is gold. And gold is coming back to retest this recent high at 3,700. So we'll see what happens there. We got a nice little green doji coming in. So that maybe we want to find some support at around 37. We'll see how it works out. Next up is natural gas. And natural gas is trying to push a little bit higher, but of course it's always been struggling, or it's been struggling for the past year or so. We'll see how natural gas works out, but it may want to go higher along with oil as we get into the winter months. Next up is the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ is trying to find some support at around 2,400, and so far it's not looking too bad. It's still in a bullish market, but we do have this little bit of a pullback, which looks normal at the moment. We'll see how it turns out for sure. Next up is silver, and silver continues to push higher. Silver has had a great run for the last part of this year. So far it looks really good, and it looks like it wants to continue higher. Next up is the Dow, and the Dow has ran into some resistance at about 4,600 and about 4,700, I'll say, and then starting to pull back some, maybe pulling back to gather its forces to run back, make another run at it. We'll see what happens as it continues to sell. But currently it's in a bullish market, but we're getting some type of pullback. And we'll see how far it pulls back as we head further into the next week. But we got some support areas. The first one I'm looking at is about 4,600. The next one is probably around 4,500. So there you have it. We'll see what happens with the Dow. Next up is corn, and corn is starting to look like it wants to continue to go higher. It's pushing up, but I ran into some resistance at around $429, and but it's got a little nice 20-day coming up underneath to act as some support right now. We had a nice green bar that came in on the 23rd. We had a little bit of a pause, and now we got another bar taking out a red bar, so that means we're going to probably push higher at least 2 more bars into corn, and we'll see what happens once we get back into this other area where it got rejected at $429. All right, and that gives us the midweek tweak. We'll take a look at 3 of our favorites real quick. Palantir, it's going for a retest of 190. Rocket Lab is may try to find some support at 48. It was trying to push up, but then it got rejected at about $53, and so we'll see what happens with it. If it finds some support around $48 or so, with a bare minimum of 47, and turns around and heads back up, then maybe we'll push up through that $53 area. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Rocket Lab. Next up is SoFi, and SoFi is pulling back to check for some support at $28. We'll see how that works out. SoFi has a window open too. It's not a large window, so it may want to come back, shut that window before even going any higher, but we'll see what happens with that. A lot of them haven't even bothered worrying about shutting those windows. They just keep running. And then we got Tesla, of course, which is retesting at 21. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's look at Tesla, not the ETF, but the actual stock. And the actual stock that looked like it wants to push higher. Ran into $444 and got rejected. Now it's going back to retest it. So we'll see what happens once it hits this $445 area. If it wants to continue to go higher, if it's going to turn around and head back down to gather its forces. It did leave a window open also at around $344, so we'll see what happens if it wants to come back and shut that window, or if it wants to continue to run and try to shut it later. So be on the lookout for that with Tesla. Nvidia, Nvidia has been doing a little bit of a dance here lately, and so we'll see what happens if it wants to continue to collect forces at around $175. So far it seems to be $175 seems to be as low as it wants to pull back to. So we'll see what happens with that. So that's going to do it for our midweek tweak. Thanks for stopping in. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as always, be careful out there. These markets are crazy.